So we had this great idea for a new video. We thought, okay, we've got all these silly songs, you know, and they're all over the place, like one per show, and then we've done our sing-along videos, and each one of those has its own silly song, which of course you'll never see unless you bought that sing-along video. Gee, it's really an obligation to try to pull all these together and give them to people so that they can, like, it's for the people.
It's for the people.
Of the people, by the people, for the people. They need their silly songs in one easy-to-carry package. But then we thought, well, wait a minute. Which one is the silliest? I mean, just, you know, out of our own curiosity, what do people think of all these songs? How would they rank them in silliness? And that hatched the idea of, okay, let's do a whole contest, a campaign where people can vote for their favorite silly songs, and then we'll do a video that counts them down, you know, number 10 to number 1, like Casey Kasem, and gives you the silliest silly song of all time, as picked by the fans.
We've asked our loving and loyal fans to cast their votes for their favorite silly song.
So then we got kind of excited because that was a fun concept.
We wanted to fashion the show around the pirates, so I took a poll.
This is where things started to go wrong.
So I sent out an email, you know, please send me your 3, you know, favorite silly songs. And I came up with a list. From that list, the Pirates That Don't Do Anything were number 7, you know, which worked to our advantage because that would be great because there would be that conflict. They'd come up, you know, earlier in the poll, you know, close to 10, they'd be upset about and they try to rig the election to go their way. So what ended up happening when the votes started to come back in was
for a long time, the Pirates were coming in number 1.
They were coming in number 1, and it was Pirates and Hairbrush, and they kept passing back and forth, and we were sweating it out, but we realized that no matter what, it was either going to be 1 or 2, so this script that we had wasn't working. It just wasn't. But we had already animated it, and so, or almost finished animating it, and it worked out really well. It was surprising, you know.
The will of the people prevailed. Overruled the will of the staff and made for some rather tense editing moments.
That's right.
Endangered
Love.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that one has a
that has a story behind it.
It's a curious mammalian sensation. No.
It started out, Mike,
lack of
every now and then Mike comes up with a silly song idea that you'll never see because I know how many letters we'd get.
Initially, Larry was watching a cooking show about a Cajun chef who, and the name of the first verse was albino manatee. So we changed it up a bit.
That went out the window.
So, you know, Larry is watching this ridiculous soap opera about manatees and love, in all the while having his little stuffed manatee on the couch who he tangos with, you know, during the song. So it's a tango style song.
Right, and that is actually one of all the songs that Kurt's done. You know, to me, that's one of the most impressive because he literally, you know, studied classic tangos and took them apart so that he could build this one. You know, it's so accurate to classic tangos, it just blows me away. It took like a year, but it was worth it.
When Mike comes up with these lyrics that still astound me, it doesn't always need funny music to go along with it. It needs sometimes serious music because then we create the irony between just a wacky lyric and the straight music in the background. So for this one, Mike said, you know what, we're going to do a tango. We started studying tangos. We went out and rented some tango movies. I bought a couple tango CDs and really picked apart what's a tango. So the fun there was to create as authentic of a tango as I could so that the lyrics and the story on top of that would be even funnier.
I'll take you to the ball. I hope you're not too tall.
The Dance of the Cucumber.
Larry will be performing the traditional Argentinian ballad, The Dance of the Cucumber, in its original Spanish. Bob the Tomato will translate.
Dance of the Cucumber came about while I was dating my wife. My wife is a native Spanish speaker. And one day we were driving around in the car and she had this tape I forget the name of the singer, but he sings a song called Los Americanos, which is it's a song about a guy is singing in Spanish and he's sort of poking fun, you know, at North Americans.
That's not very nice.
Well, it's funny. It really is. It's funny in Spanish. See, so the dynamic of her explaining the song to me in English, which was basically, you know, I'm a North American, she's sort of making fun at me, of me explaining that to me. I just thought that was a hilarious dynamic. and thought it would be, great to do a song like that between Bob and Larry, while Larry is singing something in Spanish and Bob knows how to translate and is realizing that he's being made fun of as Larry is singing. So I thought that was really funny.
He wishes he could sing
Fuerte y dulce como el pepino,
strong and sweet like the cucumber,
pero no puede
but he can't.
ni siquiera dar un silbido.
Can't even whistle. All right, that's it, senor.
Larry's high silk hat.
One day, while he was waiting for the trolley, he had a hat.
My high silk hat.
The high silk hat. Neither of us made it, but that's okay.
Well, Mark Volcano, our animation director here at Big Idea, wrote High Silk Hat as a classy song with Larry.
Mark envisioned this great Italian song. I mean, we use a couple very famous, very familiar Italian songs in there to give it this classy sound. We pulled together about 25 of our own animators and people that work in our office that sing. So we put our own little choir together and recorded it right here in one of our rooms.
Oh, it was to the tune of Funiculi Funicula, and I wanted to have Larry trying to bop gophers to the tune of Funiculi Funicula. So I thought that would be kind of
That's
funny.
funny and all, but then Mark kind of came to me and said, "Do you think maybe we could do it my way?" And I said, "Oh, I think so," because it's such a parody. Parodies Forrest Gump, and then kind of the classic, looking at early '70s Italian movies, kind of the feel of the film and the grain and everything.
His last name is Volcano, so he's Italian.
Volcano.
Yeah.
Is that Italian?
Yeah, it's very Italian.
There you go.
Now what do you think of that?
The Water Buffalo song.
When we made the first VeggieTales video, I had this notion that there should be a little short something in the middle, and then in every show, it could be something else, just completely different. So for the first one, I thought, okay, let's just do this little silly song, this just goofy little song. And I was actually, that was the Water Buffalo song, was the very first silly song.
The Water Buffalo song.
Oh, that's a nice one. The grandfather of silly songs. The one that started the whole thing.
Which worked great. Everybody loved it, but it was never intended to be like a recurring thing. It was just the silly thing we did on the first show.
Everybody's got a water buffalo. Yours is fast, but mine is slow. Oh, where'd we get them? I don't know, but everybody's got a water buffalo.
We got to the second show, God Wants Me to Forgive Them, and I didn't want to do another silly song because we'd already done that. Been there, done that.
Stop right this instant. What do you think you're doing? You can't say everyone's got a water buffalo and everyone does not have a water buffalo. We're going to get nasty letters saying, "Where's my water buffalo?"
And then we started getting letters immediately, like right off the bat, saying, "Where's the silly song with Larry? What did you do with the silly song with Larry?" And my first reaction was, wait a minute, when did we promise that there was going to be one on every show? We never said that. I never promised you a silly song on every show.
I beg your pardon.
And we thought, okay, they seem to like the silly songs.
The silly songs kind of evolved because the first one, I remember Phil talking about walking down a street somewhere and this Water Buffalo song popped into his head. And he just had to write it down quickly.
I was walking through the plaza of the Dirksen Federal Building in downtown Chicago. And all of a sudden I just started singing, just like out of nowhere. Everybody's got a water buffalo, yours is fast, mine is slow. And this little song just, hit me like a tax form on the head.
IRS-induced silliness.
You got your, everybody wants a water buffalo, yours is fast but mine is slow.
Everybody's got a baby kangaroo. Yours is pink, but mine is blue. Hers was small.
The Yodeling Veterinarian of the Alps.
Oh, we didn't do the Veterinarian
I
of
love
the
that
Alps.
one.
Yeah, the Veterinarian of the Alps. You wanna talk about
Veterinarian,
that?
yeah, I
okay,
do.
let's talk about
That's
that
one
one.
of my favorites.
Yes.
But I don't have that much to say about it.
Since I couldn't do yodeling like I wanted to on I Love My Lips, I had to do scatting. I wanted to have another opportunity for yodeling.
Yodeling, 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 yodeling.
Okay, I want that. I want yodeling. Also, around the same time, my wife was pregnant with our first child.
We have recurring themes of yodeling and Mike's wife. You'll notice. Many silly songs.
Yes.
Give a song for your pregnant kitty. She's looking nauseous and a weak path too. But if I think will feel better in a day or two.
Some of the wackiness from this is just bringing together different styles that I would never think of putting together. You've got barbershop quartet and German polka. Yeah, let's do a song made up of that. They'll come up with ideas I would never imagine, but then that's the wonderful challenge of it. Okay, how do I make this work with that? And then you put those together, and it's a completely new creation that nobody's ever heard before.
And so just the concept of a veterinarian who yodels was funny, and then just if he's in the Alps, because that's where you yodel, and that'd be even funnier. So the yodeling veterinarian of the Alps, sung by the Scallion and Frankencellery Quartet.
This is a song for your poor thick penguin. He's got a fever and his toes are blue. But if I sing to your poor thick penguin, he will feel better in a day or two.
The song of the Cebu.
Ah, the Cebu, the song of the Cebu. Well, that was inspired by a trip to Colombia. My wife is Colombian, and one Christmas we took a couple weeks and we went to Colombia to visit her dad and her brother and her friends. Yep. And we took a lot of time when we were there. We took the bus around to a lot of little small towns.
You didn't bring me anything back.
I didn't. I brought you a silly song back.
Yes. You brought that to the world.
A song about a little boy and his Cebus. A song about a little boy and his 3 Cebus. The little boy who had a sick Cebu, a sad Cebu, and a mute Cebu.
In one of the towns that we were in, I think Neva was the name of the town, we went out for ice cream one night with a couple of my wife's friends, and on the way to the ice cream place, walking down the middle of this street were these 2 Cebus. I didn't know what they were. They were the Brahma bulls, is I guess the English phrase for them, but they were walking down the street. And
Did they have ice cream too?
Well, see, that's what I thought. I thought they're on their way back from having ice cream. Isn't that cute? They're on their first date. So they're coming back from the ice cream store. That is so cute. So that just got me thinking about Cebus. It's like, oh, I want to write a song about Cebus because they're just really funny looking.
And what on earth is a Cebu, anyway?
It's kind of like a cow. See?
Yes.
So is it Cebu or Sabu?
Cebu.
Because you say it both ways in the song.
I know. That's unfortunate.
Okay.
Boo. Sing it with me. Say boo. Say boo. Chicken.
Kung Pao,
Chicken.
Mongolian,
Chicken.
sweet and sour,
Chicken.
cashew,
Chicken.
do the mushu, mushu, shoo, mushu.
Ah, the Mushu song. Yeah.
Mushu song.
Yeah. Well, part of the concept behind the whole video was, the pirates that don't do anything, but the day before they had ordered, Chinese food, and that's something.
Obviously
Yeah.
something.
So Pa points out, oh, you did something yesterday, so you can do something now. So they had ordered Chinese food, so we have sort of this Chinese food theme running throughout the show.
Have a wonton. Ooh. Kung Pao squid?
No.
So the concept behind it was that, okay, what would it be to have a song where you just grabbed a menu and started making up words from the menu, using it sort of as a
Right.
choral sheet.
Which may have involved the fact that Mike didn't have a lot of time to invest in a new song. I'm not sure. The only other fun thing about the Mushu song is that the director of the movie, Tom Bancroft, was the supervising animator on the character Mushu in Mulan, in Disney's Mulan. See? Full circle, Mushu, Mushu.
Cheeseburger.
He said to her, I'd like a cheeseburger. And I might
Oh, Cheeseburger
the
song.
Cheeseburger song.
Yeah. You know what that one started off as?
Joke?
It started off as a joke. Well, I thought, what would it be like for Larry to fall in love with the girl at the drive-thru? But as I got into the song, I started to realize that it wasn't Larry's personality at all. The song would not work with Larry. So so it was called Drive-Thru Girl originally. You are his drive-thru girl, basically. So I changed it to Cheeseburger, which is it turned out so much better because it was just so hilarious.
Concept of the song was an homage to the 1970s, power rock ballads.
Right,
And we actually, Kurt was using for reference Meatloaf,
And Air Supply.
Meatloaf and Air Supply. Yummy.
We went out and got a couple CDs of groups like Meatloaf and Air Supply and started listening to them. I mean, I hadn't even listened to these groups when I was growing up, But then we had a couple ideas that we listened to some specific songs to get the singing styles of some of the favorite singers from back then.
Clean that dirty cheese off just for you.
That part.
That was my moment.
You are his cheeseburger.
Love my lips.
Yes, what is the explanation for I love my lips?
I was in the car driving back from Minneapolis. I'd been up to visit my brothers in Minneapolis, and I was driving back and just started to sing this song about, if my lips ever left my mouth, packed a bag and headed south, I'd be too bad. I'd feel so sad, So I was, relating it to my own insecurities, and so I kind of came up with that little line, and I actually really wanted to yodel. I thought, Larry's got the ability to yodel, which hadn't been utilized yet and wasn't utilized until later. So it started off, yodeling. You use a lot of your tongue for yodeling, so it started off as I love my tongue, and so he would,
right.
So
I
he
remember
would.
that.
That's right. To pick a different musical styling besides yodeling, I thought scatting would be great, which you lose a lot of your lips for, and so. So so love my lips is what it turned into.
Oh my!
The pirates who don't do anything.
We are the pirates who don't do anything. We just stay at home and lie around.
Yeah, the Pirates song actually.
Where'd that come from?
Way back when, I was actually, before we started VeggieTales, I was on tour with the Continental Singers, who are a singing group who travel around the United States, and Archer also went to Europe.
He was the sound man.
I was the sound man for the singing group. I was on the trip, and we had a few people around us, and we were just being goofy on the bus, and I started making up a song about never being to Boston in the fall, because in the fall, in the tour, we were actually going to be in Boston, and so I started singing about never doing this and never doing that and never being to Boston in the fall, and it got really goofy, and I really liked it.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. So I had that part of it, but I thought, I wanted to do a song about pirates. I thought it'd be really funny. I really liked the dynamics, just the personalities I wanted to put together were Larry, Paul, and Lunch, because they were just, really strong, oddball characters, and I thought putting them together as pirates would be really funny. And just thinking about an angle about pirates, what would be goofy about pirates? So if there were pirates that didn't do anything, if they were just lazy and sat around and did nothing, that would be hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that song
He's
came
no
from.
dummy.
That's right. I can connect things like that in my brain.
And I've never licked a spark plug, and I've never sniffed a stink bug, and I've never painted daisies on a big red rubber ball, and I've never bathed in yogurt, and I don't look good in leggings.
You just don't get it.
And we've never been to Boston in the fall.
Pass the chips.
The Hairbrush Song. Our curtain opens as Larry, having just finished his morning bath, is searching for his hairbrush. Having no success, Larry cries out,
Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where is my hairbrush?
The classic, the Hairbrush Song.
The Hairbrush Song, that's right.
That song really ended up taking on a life of its own, because we went in to record it, and the way Mike had written it, all of the lines, Paul Grape saying,
I think I saw a hairbrush back there.
those weren't sung, they were all spoken. So it was Larry singing, where is my hairbrush? And Pa coming in saying, I think I saw a hairbrush back there. And we got into the booth to record it, and my wife, Lisa, was junior. She came in to do her line, which she was supposed to just say, oh, why do you need a hairbrush? You don't have any hair. And but Kurt Heinecke had already scored it, had already done all the piano. So the piano bed was exactly as it is now. Didn't change a thing. And when Lisa got in there, instead of saying, why do you need a hairbrush? You don't have any hair, she followed Kurt's piano score and sang it.
Why do you need a hairbrush? You don't have any hair.
And it just, cracked us up. We just like fell out of our chairs laughing. So we stopped recording, stopped the session, and said, okay, let's see if we can do that for every line. Without redoing any of the music, because Kurt had already finished the music. Let's see if we can figure out how to sing every line that Mike had written through the whole song. And so it was completely spontaneous, just because Lisa sang her line instead of reading it, that we figured out how to sing every line through the whole song, and it was genius.
Magic.
The end.